Hey YouTube fam, it's Daughter of the Most High. Apparently, I have to clear off some of my storage in this phone so I can have more than 16 minutes to do a video. So this is part 3. Um, so I just wanted to pick up where I left off, and that was me in my first relationship after my divorce and thinking that I was entitled to like misbehave. And I actually said to him that, he was feeling, he had a deeper understanding of obedience than I did at the time. And so when he would share that, we're in the wrong and we're being immoral and that whole thing, I just said to him, I feel like I have a right to this, and I feel like that God has bigger fish to fry than what we're doing together with the mess that the world's in. And this was probably, what year was it? 2011. And so about 10 years ago. And um, I actually said that God has bigger fish to fry than this, meaning that God's not going to waste his time about what we're doing. That was how I'm surprised he even stayed with me. I mean, that was like, how could I even think that when it's not even about that? I'm in sin, I die, I end up in hell. He's in sin, he dies, he ends up in hell because you don't have to, and speaking to Christians that think they can do everything but have sex and be okay. And I thought that, well, not everything, but you know what I mean? Push the boundaries a bit and still be okay. You're not. Sexual behavior is sexual behavior, all of it leading up to intercourse. So I was playing these games in my head, and so was he, and so does so many of us. And it's so ridiculous. But yeah, my thinking back then, I have grown a lot in the last probably 3 years for sure, and 5 years, yeah. Anyway, it just makes me shake my head. So yeah, I felt entitled. I thought I've been ripped off so badly. I ripped off as a kid, and then my marriage that turned out to, it wasn't even a marriage. I didn't feel married. I was legally married, but I never felt married. So I've never really experienced a true marriage. And so I thought I was entitled to our behavior. Well, guess what? I'm not. And neither are you, and neither is anyone else that um, is in fornication or adultery or, theft is a big one. A lot of people steal. People that steal do it because they feel entitled to more than what they have because of being shortchanged and ripped off in life. And so that's how the habit of stealing starts for some people. They feel like they are owed those things, and maybe they can't earn enough money to get whatever it is they want, whatever that is they're stealing, and but they feel entitled to it. Well, I felt entitled too, and I was wrong. And thank heaven I didn't die at that time, because I would have died. I was in unrepentant sin. So there's so much to say about all this, but the thing is that people will fight for the right to stay in sin. People argue, Christians argue for the right to stay in sin. Now, sometimes people will argue these points because their parents are in adulterous remarriages, or because their sibling is, or because their bestie is, and they don't want to think that, they're going to end up in hell. And the fact is that we all have to repent. Sin is sin, and sin does not go into heaven. And that's the biggest point here. But I've always got, whenever I bring this subject up, Christians are always arguing for the side of sin. And the fact is we're to forsake our sin. We are not to argue for sin. And many Christians do. It's just sad. And if they don't ever get it, they're going to pay dearly. We have perfect clarity. That's one of the things that I learned in The Hell Conspiracy by Laurie Ditto, is that she said when she descended into hell, now remember, she thought that she had died and gone to hell, but she was in a vision in hell. But how do we know when we die? I mean, we can get in a car accident and we're dead in a minute, or we get shot or whatever and we're dead, and we don't realize where we are, whether it's a vision or it's our eternal destiny. And so that's what happens to her, is that she thought she had died and gone to hell, and she knew exactly why she was there, because of her unforgiveness, for her unforgiveness. So we have perfect clarity. When a person takes their last breath and descends into hell, all of the clouds, all of the strongholds, all of the stuff we do with our mind, all of that is gone. We remember everything and every detail of our life. We see with clarity how sinful we are. We don't see on earth how sinful we are. Most Christians don't. They don't see who they are and how much sin they have, maybe in their past. I think as we grow, we get better, and so there's less sin. But most of us don't see ourselves accurately at all. We have to get into the Spirit and see the way God sees. So that's something that we have to be so aware of, is that we can't trust this guy. We can't trust this thing. You know, again, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart. That means trust what he says. That's trust what his word says. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, which we all do. In all your ways acknowledge him. That includes sex and marriage, the big grand idol of everybody's life. Sex and marriage. So, yeah, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. So we've got to quit leaning on our own understanding, including our topic here, adultery. So that's just some of the stuff that I wanted to share with you. Again, I want to point you into the direction of Julie's videos. Her channel is Into the Light, and I put a link to her YouTube in part 2. So look for that in the description of part 2. I want to share one more thing before I close this video, and this is about the current agenda. So we're just going to do a little hairpin turn here real quick, and this is on the current agenda. And I have a 6.5-minute video that is so interesting. So look for that in the description box. I'm not going to say more about it. I've already got a strike, and if I get a second, I'll lose my channel. So I got to be careful. Yeah, so look for that in the description box. If you have any questions or comments, you can comment on any of these videos. Let's explore this together. Let's get this, and let's not argue for this side of sin. We are free from sin. Our life is about victory. Our Christian life is victory over sin. We shouldn't be arguing for the side of sin and how grace covers all, and all the other nonsense we hear on other channels that are sugar-coated and think we can live any which way. Anybody that thinks that we can live any which way or live in even one sin, you know, maybe we consider ourselves a good person, but we have our pet sin. No, it doesn't work like that. It took me a long time to get it, so I'm never throwing a stone. It took this girl so long to get it, so don't ever feel like I'm throwing a stone. So let's live God's way. Our time is so short. Our time is so short, and you will see that on the video, that when you click on the link in the description of this video, you'll see it's coming. So anyway, fam, that's enough for tonight, would you say? Yes. So anyway, happy weekend, and I will see you soon. Be blessed, family.